you might be gearing up for a little BBQ yourself, and our friends from the Missouri Pork Producers here this morning, Diane Slater, to give us a few tips. If you don't want to do the typical burgers and brats, you can maybe shake it up. And I mentioned going to break. Smell-o-vision would be awesome to have. Holy cow. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome now, thanks. So tell us what you got.
I'm going to ignore you guys and I'm going to eat over here. You can do this interview.
I don't judge you at all.
I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
So I'll chime in sometimes.
So we have 3 different recipes this morning. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do. So this is our pork chop with a basil garlic rub. So you make your own with fresh basil and olive oil, salt and pepper and garlic. Grind that up, put it on your chop, let it rest for about 30 minutes on your countertop, then grill it up. I grilled it up here in the last, 15, 20
yeah,
minutes?
it was right when I came out here, and it was quick too. Now, especially for people who are more chicken fans or even beef, the price of that's been going up as well because of, the bird flu. Why is this, maybe more people turning to this 4th of July weekend?
Well, pork is a very economical choice right now. Prices are really good, and it's also really healthy. You mentioned chicken. This is a pork tenderloin. It's our southwestern version, but a pork tenderloin is actually just as lean as a boneless, skinless chicken breast, and it's certified heart healthy by the American Heart Association. So this is a really easy cut, and the key is to grill it to 145. Or grill it like a steak. If you like your steak medium rare, cook your chops or your tenderloin to medium rare, or if you like it medium, go up to medium. But make sure you use a meat thermometer.
I was going to say a silly question. You had one here and it just turned off. It was 62 degrees, which is probably the temperature out here because it's been sitting out for a while. But how do you use one of these things?
Well, the key is to get it into the center part of the meat. So like for this tenderloin, you kind of want to stick it in at this angle. And so you make sure it's into the meat, and then it's going to register the temperature.
So it gets more of the meat, whereas if you're sticking it just straight through to the bottom, you could even be touching the plate, too, and you get a wrong temperature.
Right. So even on your pork chops, you would want to stick it in at an angle on the side so you get closer to the bone, which is going to register your temperature better.
Now, when you grill a pork chop specifically, I know a lot of people will say when you do anything on the grill, you should let one side cook and flip it over and just do one flip. Some people, I'm a multi-flipper, because I'm kind of a little OCD about stuff like that. But what's the technique to get something like this?
You're right. It's really, you let it sit for about 6 to 8 minutes, and then you go ahead and flip it, and then let it sit for another 6 to 8 minutes. It's really hard not to open that grill.
I know.
I was struggling this morning with it. And especially like with this Italian stuffed pork chop.
And this looks good. If Ethan, if you can come get a shot of this in here. Well, I wanted to talk, so I couldn't eat at the same time. I can't multitask. It's too early.
But this is stuffed with spinach and sun-dried tomatoes and Parmesan cheese. So you definitely don't want to flip that too much because your stuffing will fall out. I secured it with a toothpick to kind of help keep it in there. But as it warms up, of course, it starts to ooze
How long does it take you to stuff something like that? And how do you stuff a pork chop?
Well, you take it, you start on the side that's away from the fat, and you make a small opening with your knife, and you go in close to the fat, but don't poke through, and just kind of make a little pocket in there with your knife, and then just get your hands dirty and start stuffing.
Very nice. And real quickly before we go, how can we find these recipes?
These are all on porkbeinspired.com, and I think you'll have them up on your website as well.
Very nice. Diane, thanks so much for coming in, and I appreciate the breakfast we're going to get
And
here.
I will tell you, I'm eating it right now. It's good. It's really, really good.